A quiet street in a small German town. People pass each other on the pavement. And every single time they do, they look down. Not at each other's faces, at each other's shoes. A man reads a stranger's shoes, gives a tiny nod, and walks on. The next pair, he looks away. Here, people check your shoes before your face. The brand you are wearing tells them whose side you are on. Because two of the biggest names in sport were born in this one small town. And they were born from two brothers who ended up hating each other. About 20,000 people live here, and somehow this one little place is home to two of the biggest sports brands on Earth, sitting a few hundred meters apart on opposite banks of the same small river. So here is the only question that matters. How do two brothers at one workbench end up on opposite sides of a river and opposite ends of a graveyard? A running shoe on the fastest man alive. 4 words in a bomb shelter. A river nobody would cross. A footballer paid to kneel down and slowly tie his laces. And 2 graves at opposite ends of one small cemetery. This is the story of Adidas and Puma. It starts the way a lot of these do, with 2 brothers who got along. In the 1920s, in that same small town, Adi and Rudi Dassler make shoes together. And they are opposites. Adi is the quiet one. He wants to be in the back, with the leather and the glue, making the shoe a little bit better every time. Rudi is loud and charming, and he could sell sand in a desert. One brother makes it, the other sells it. On their own, each is half a company. Together, they are unstoppable. And it works. It works so well that their little handmade shoes are about to walk onto the biggest stage in the world. Berlin, 1936, the Olympic Games, in front of the whole world and in front of Hitler himself. The fastest man alive that summer is an American named Jesse Owens. He wins 4 gold medals. He takes the Nazi idea of who is supposed to be superior and tears it up, on their own track, at their own games. And on his feet, while he does it, are shoes made by 2 brothers in a laundry room, in a town nobody outside Germany has ever heard of. Think about that. The most famous shoes at the Games are theirs. These should be the best years of their lives. They are the last good ones. Because the same world that handed them that stage is about to come for the family itself. Then, the war. Both brothers joined the Nazi party. That is simply the truth of it, said plainly. The factory stops being only a shoe factory and starts making things for the war. And the 2 men who built something good together are now locked in the same building, under the same roof, while the world outside falls apart. And by now, they have started to grate on each other. The wives do not get along. There are arguments about money, about who really runs things. Small cracks everywhere. Then, one night, the cracks find their moment. The way the story gets told, it goes like this. An air raid. The sirens go off. Adi and his wife climb down into a shelter where Rudi and his family are already sitting in the dark. And as Adi comes in, he mutters something about the dirty bastards being back again. He means the bombers, up over their heads. But Rudi, sitting there in the dark, is certain his brother means him. Now, maybe it happened exactly like that. Maybe it did not. No real company splits in 2 over one sentence in a basement. What actually broke them was worse than a bad night. And it was written down. Rudi gets called up into the army, and he becomes convinced that his own brother arranged it to get him out of the way. Then the war ends. The Americans arrive, and Rudi is arrested and held. And again, he is sure of it, that Adi is the one who pointed at him and said, "That one, he is the dangerous one." Meanwhile, Adi is sitting through his own hearing, answering for his own past. So sit with that for a second. This is not 2 men fighting over a logo. This is each brother believing the other one tried to have him locked up. After that, there is no back room big enough for the both of them. So in 1948, they do the only thing left to do. They cut the company in half. Not sell it, not fight over it in court. Cut it. The machines, the patents, and the people. Every single worker has to pick a brother, Rudy takes his half across the river to the south bank and starts over. Adi keeps the north. Rudy calls his new company Ruda at first, then renames it after an animal, Puma. And Adi builds his out of his own name, Adi Dassler, Adidas. And no, it does not stand for all day I dream about sports. That is a myth. It is just a man's name. 2 companies now, 1 river between them, and a whole town that suddenly has to choose. And the town does choose. All of it. 2 bakeries, 1 for each side, 2 pubs, 2 football clubs. If you worked for one brother, you did not drink with the people from the other. You did not marry them. Your children did not play with their children. And people really did start checking each other's shoes. Before you spoke to a stranger, you glanced down, saw whose shoes he had on, and knew whose side he was on. The town even earned a name for it, the town of the bent necks. A family argument had quietly become the rules of a whole town, and it was not going to stay inside the town much longer. 1954, the World Cup final. West Germany, a country still in pieces after the war, against Hungary, a team that has not lost a game in years. It rains, the pitch turns to mud, and the German players are wearing Adi's boots, the ones with studs you could screw out and swap for exactly this kind of weather. Germany win, their first World Cup ever, in the mud, in his shoes. Overnight, Adidas is not a small-town shoemaker anymore. It is the boot that won the World Cup, which left the other brother needing a stage of his own. And he found one. It is the pettiest, most brilliant move in the entire feud. The 2 companies had a quiet truce about one particular player, the best on the planet. Neither would pay a fortune to sign him, so neither would bleed the other dry over him. A gentleman's agreement. Then Puma quietly paid him anyway. And at the next World Cup, right before kickoff, in front of the cameras and half the world watching, the best footballer alive knelt down on the center of the pitch and slowly, carefully, tied his shoes. The cameras zoomed straight in on his Puma boots. A grudge that started in a Bavarian basement was now the biggest advert in world sport. And through all of it, 40 years of it, the 2 brothers themselves, they never spoke again. They lived a few hundred meters apart in the same small town for the rest of their lives, and never once made it up. Rudy died first in the 1970s, Adi a few years behind him. And when they were buried in the same town cemetery. Of course they were, but at opposite ends of it, as far apart as the ground would allow. Both of them asked for exactly that. 2 brothers who could not share one workbench ended up sharing one town, one river, and one graveyard, kept right to the end, as far apart as they could possibly get. So the next time you see the 3 stripes or the leaping cat, you will know what they really are. Not 2 rivals who happened to end up as neighbors, 2 halves of one family that could not sit at the same table. And here is the strangest part. They never left. Both companies are still there, in that same small town, on that same little river, a short walk from each other to this day. A few years ago, 60-odd years after the split, the 2 firms finally put workers from both sides onto one football pitch, on one team, as a kind of peace. The brothers were not there to see it. They had been lying at opposite ends of that graveyard for a very long time. One family, one town, one little river down the middle, and 2 of the biggest names on Earth. One more thing. I'm Stick. I travel through time to bring you back the best stories. See you in the next one. Next time, the story of Marvel's Doomsday.